I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.
Messy. Jesus Christ.
Did you just say messy like a fucking mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, and happy Mother's Day to all moms out there. I don't know. At least in Sweden, it's Mother's Day today.
Is
Who
it?
the fuck knows in the rest of the world?
Ah,
Yeah.
it was
Mother's
like
Day in Australia like a month ago.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago for Belgium. I think. I don't know. She had shit that I gave her, and oh wait, actually,
I need to call my mom. I haven't called her yet.
call her on the show. Do it.
No.
I'll try and seduce her again for you.
No.
It'll be the best mother. Didn't I do that once? Try to seduce your mom at one point, or like flirt with her.
My mom doesn't speak English, so if you tried, I don't think it would have worked.
I think I did. It was either your mom or like somebody like a parental person close to. I don't know. I can't
think it
remember
was.
who it was.
I think it was. I think I know who it was.
Who?
That was on Midsummer, like 2 years ago.
Mm.
Oh, my mom's friend.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she was super drunk.
Yeah. She liked it too. She wanted the D. All right.
She wanted this bro dude that is sitting in his basement with his cap turned backwards,
Looking
Hey.
like a dickhead.
looking like a Kyle. Just got
Yeah.
off the lake off his jet ski.
Oh come on. Am I getting this now? Just because
You really
I
look like a
fucking wear
Kyle.
Yeah. So. Kyle's getting
Why
all
you
the
gotta
pussy.
look so white?
Oh, God. All right. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the At Random podcast. Joined today by apparently very judgmental people.
What, you've never
You're-
been here before?
Is this your first time?
Yeah. Actually, well, no, I've been here a couple of times, and every time I just generally I start with hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the At Random podcast. I am your host of this evening, Andy Coudron, and I was your host last week when we talked about Albert Fish, and of course today we are talking again with Alejandra. Hello, baby girl.
Hello. Don't call me that again.
Hey, baby girl. Hey,
Oh,
mamacita.
fucking... Ew, I'm gonna vomit.
Yeah.
For real.
Mommy.
Don't.
Mm.
I don't even let him call me
Say
that.
it. Say it. I papi.
She calls me papi.
No,
Yeah.
don't.
Say I papi. Say it.
No,
Oh,
I'm
come
not.
on.
It's not-
Muy rico papi.
Ew, you're fucking disgusting. Both of
And then,
you.
of course, they call him the horse of Sweden because of the peen. And also, he's been called I papi or puppy or daddy by his wife a lot of times from what I hear. Like all the stories I hear.
No,
They got
Every other
yeah.
like day, basically.
No.
Definitely.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, it definitely did. But it's Alex, ladies and gentlemen. He's here as well.
I am, believe it or not.
How was your guys' week looking? How was it? Was it good? Bad?
Horrible.
Meh.
Horrible?
It just
Yeah, I started my new courses and I forgot how much I hate math.
Oh, school shit.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
keep forgetting you guys still go to school. Well, Alex doesn't
I'm
anymore.
done.
Yeah, you're
I'm
done now.
I just all the days blend together. It's just work. Sometimes there's a weekend, which is usually just like
2
gone.
seconds.
Yeah, it's just like like this weekend. Just like
yeah.
it used to be Friday, and tomorrow, soon it's going to be Monday again.
It is.
What
It
happened to
is
those
like
2 days
that.
in
Yeah.
between?
That is work. That is work. That is
Yep.
a perfect
Mhm.
description of work.
It's 4 weeks to my vacation, so
Well,
gotta hold on.
Since you go to school, don't you have exams pretty soon?
No, the thing is because I'm not going as like I'm reading up my grades from high school
Okay.
because I was a naughty girl and I
Okay.
didn't go when I was supposed
let's
to.
put it this way: she was in her final year when she met the horse, and let's just say school became a secondary priority
Yeah, but
after she met the horse.
yeah, man,
I
daddy
hadn't
daddy
been
has
to
to
school
come.
in like 3 years before I
No,
met you.
the first time I met her best friend, She was supposed to be at school. She
Yeah.
took me to her school
Yeah.
while they were in class and got her friend to leave the class to introduce me to her.
Of course.
She was supposed to be in that class, but she was with the
Daddy
horse.
comes first, Alex.
Ew,
Daddy comes first.
Stop,
Exactly.
please.
And you can take
put,
that. You
put
can
it
take
down.
that. You can take that however you want. Daddy comes
Oh,
first.
she took it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate you guys. Seriously.
Is
I
that
don't even
is
know why
that the
I
new
bother.
thing now? Just fucking completely sexualize you guys.
I don't know.
I can live with it. That's fine. You know, just as long as we don't sexualize whatever we're gonna talk about today. Because, like, boy,
Oh,
did some more research. I'm not happy that I dragged myself through this. Just so that people know, I picked this subject. This is a choice I made. You know, and sometimes you make choices in life. You're not happy about it. I mean, not at all. I've already written part 3, and part 3 is gonna be worse. It just this guy.
So it's a 3-parter.
Dude, yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't. Like, there's so many details
No, that's all right.
It's
that's
fine.
it's
that
good.
lead up to this fucking horrible piece of shit human being. I don't even know if he could classify it as a human being by the end of his life. You'll understand why I say this now. But yeah, on last week's episode, we talked about how Albert Fish grew up. His dad was an 80-year-old guy who shortly after his and his siblings' birth, pretty much he died immediately.
That's what happens when you have kids when you're 80.
I don't think
they called
it
him.
was,
Did you know they nicknamed him the Rabbit
who
because he just kept fucking till he died, kept just reproducing. and
the
he just
father
died.
the father of
The
Albert
father.
Fish.
Yeah, the Rabbit.
Yeah, is it?
He just bred like a rabbit and then
Where the fuck
See
did
ya.
you find that?
He's just making shit
I
up.
just made it up.
Oh God,
you know,
okay. Oh,
It's
that
probably true.
Like everything he says, you just don't believe it.
yeah. The jackhammer would have been a nice one as well.
Yeah, I've been with him for 9 years. So I learned that the hard way, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
here we are.
All right. Well, on that note, his mom wasn't able to support all the kids after the dad died, and little tiny Ham and Eggs was dropped off at St. John's Orphanage. Ham and Eggs, of course, being the nickname he got, and he fucking hated this guy hated that nickname so much. I'm gonna call him Ham and Eggs throughout this show, because how can you not? The fucker's dead. What is he gonna do? Kill me? I mean,
Come and haunt you.
But I mean, what if
Fucking-
purgatory is real and you meet him there and he just starts eating your shit every day for the rest of eternity?
if I'm in purgatory, I deserve it. So, you know, that's on me. It's probably from being called daddy so many times in my life. But hey, you know, we all got to suffer eventually. Now, after some deep diving, I actually discovered a few more things that I could have mentioned in the last episode, which was that his mother had some demons of her own in the form of mental afflictions. She severely suffered from visual hallucinations, apparently. And not only that, apparently it was in the genes, because his uncle was diagnosed with mania. His brother was sent to a state mental institution, and his sister was diagnosed as well with a mental affliction.
Did they like live near like a lead smelting factory or
I
something?
don't know,
It's
but, like-
schizophrenia probably, and that is hereditary.
I have no idea what exactly it was, but here's the thing, and this is what I want. Look, I mean, these are good episodes for parents. Are they dark? Yeah, they're fucking dark. But I've talked about the scale in which a serial killer like rises up from being a kid to being where they are at the end of their lives, which is just, in my view, non-humans anymore. They're still accounted for as humans because they have the body and the reproductive organs and like the brain and everything functions the same. But you couldn't say these are human beings, because human beings do feel a certain amount of emotions and shit like that. These are unrehabilitatable people. Periods. There's nothing. And why I do think this guy is so interesting is that you can clearly see, and I want to do these episodes as clearly, like, as detailed as possible, because you can see the amp up. Everything has like a layer, and it stacks on top of each other. And like it just amps up to making a monster. Like it amps up to the name Boogeyman for this guy is absolute dead on. He literally becomes the thing of nightmares. So the mental affliction the mental afflictions in his gene pool are like the beginning spark.
Yeah, of course.
I can't describe it anything else. It's like he has it. It's within him, and whatever he goes through.
If you add that up with the trauma that he experienced, like it's just a recipe for disaster.
But it's not only that. It's not only the trauma he went through. It's the fact that he reverted that trauma into something pleasurable for him. Shows that there's not a single person that, I mean, I'm not going to say not a single person. There's probably a lot of people out there that have that way of working through that, but it's so weird to me how it all just smacks together. So at any rate, Albert was abandoned and he was sent to an orphanage, a place of brutality called St. John's Orphanage, where he was exposed to regular beatings and sadistic acts of brutality. It was said that he began to look forward to the abuse because it brought him, quote unquote, pleasure. When asked about the orphanage, I have an actual quote from Albert Fish. I was there till I was nearly 9, and that's where I got started wrong. We were unmercifully whipped. I saw boys doing many things they should not have done. So you have the hereditary fucking mental shit that sparks it. Then you put him in that situation. And like even later on in his life, he knows that the mental shit was the fuel, and then that fucking St. John's Orphanage was a lit match that just fucking was thrown in there, and it combusted into odd fucking sexual, and it's all sexual with this guy, by the way. It's everything is fucking sexual. It's unbelievable.
You said like he used to get like boners from being whipped and like beaten and like got
in
raped
St. John's.
And
there's
stuff in
actually
the showers.
There's recounts from other people that lived there with him that actually visibly, because they did this to the kids naked as well, that visibly saw. Yeah, this wasn't a daycare you would leave your child at, Alex.
Hey, well maybe I would. I don't know.
Why would you even comment on it? Like, Alex.
I don't have a kid, so it's fine.
The seeds of sadomasochism, they were planted, and finally, at the ripe age of 9, Albert's mom scored herself a government job, making her able to support and pick up little Albert Fishy Fish from the orphanage. And between
little ham and eggs.
Yeah, little ham and egg. Between the 1880 and 1882, there's very little to talk about. But, and this is me, complete speculation on my part, I think somehow in his pain-deprived mind, the absence of beating and pain started to actually take a toll on him, in the form of not reaching the ultimate pleasure. Basically, I'm saying without pain and depraved acts, he had a hard time reaching orgasms, or at the very least, they didn't feel as good.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was in formative years at that point. He definitely...
But just a question, so he was taken back by his mother at the age of 9.
Yeah.
At what age do boys become like sexually active?
from like 8 or 9 if you're early bloomer.
It's very like it could differentiate from person to person.
Actually, these kids were exposed to sexual acts at the age of 6. This is the thing. It's a fucking, like I said, it's a match you throw in a barrel of fuel.
Yeah, but there's one thing being exposed, like someone, like an adult person exposing you or like doing things to you as a child. But I'm just like asking, just recounting what you were saying for him getting bonus where he was getting beaten. It's just out of curiosity because I don't know. I know as
you need to look if you need to see the situation in as a whole, you need to see it as this. You got 6-year-olds and 9-year-olds living together under one roof. And the 9-year-olds and the 11-year-olds and the 12-year-olds who are already sexually active, they just show the younger guys what. But of course, but
I'm talking about like physically, like inside of your body, there's something that happens, when the hormones.
I think left alone and not having any stimuli from outside or anybody, like I think 11, 12 is the age where that starts to happen. For Albert Fish, I think it was as young as like 5 to 6 years old that he was being touched,
exposed,
with a sexual intent.
Yeah, but that's mostly why I was wondering, like, because obviously I don't know. I was more thinking as like girls, for example, like when they hit puberty, because that's when usually hormones start happening in your body, and you get erections and you get your periods. For girls, the normal age is between 10 to 12, but it can also range. Like some girls can get them at 8, 9, and it's common, but it's from person to person. But that's what I was mostly just wondering: at what age do boys like are aware that their penis, their erection has to do with a sexual? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've taken 10 minutes to talk about this. Can we just get back to the fucking topic?
Yeah. But it's fine. It's fine. I don't mind clearing that up. But then in 1882, he started his first homosexual relationship with another boy, who then introduced him to pee drinking and shit eating. Literally.
At what age was this?
12. Yeah.
12. Okay.
Yeah. He lives with his mom for 3 years now. He's 12 years old, and that's where we left off last time. Now, I wasn't able to dig up much about his first boyfriend. All I was really able to find was the urolagnia and the coprophagia, which is the nice words for pee-pee guzzler and poo-poo gobbler.
Or German porn star.
Yeah, that could be. He could have made money. Could have made some money.
He was born 100 years too soon.
Yeah. He was a man beyond his age.
Did you know?
Literally, if Albert Fish were on the dark web, he would have made he would have been a millionaire.
True. Did you know this is a thing? On a very quick note. You know how a lot of people, like rich oil magnates in like the Middle East, like Dubai and stuff, pay like Instagram influencers to go over and do photo shoots?
Yeah.
Do you know there's like quite a big thing where they actually, basically as payment, they shit on the women's chest to get sexual gratification. So that's like what they actually charge them to take them over and put them up in like 5, the best hotels and restaurants and stuff in Dubai, and they shit on their chest. That is a real, true thing.
See,
that happens. Don't be an Instagram influencer, people. Some guy will shit on your chest.
Be an Instagram influencer, but show the world what it's really like.
Yes.
Take a picture with a poo-poo on your chest and go #poopy time and #Dubai,
I hope that
good
Gucci
hotel,
bag was worth it.
#excellent service. Yeah, that's what you want to do. So he introduced this guy to shit eating and pee drinking, and he also, around this age, I was able to find that he spent the majority of his weekend apparently in bathhouses, watching other boys undress and marvel at all the naked cock his young depraving mind could soak in. Like, that was a thing he did for years to come, is go into public bathhouses to see all the peepees.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he was like, the kid he was dating with first was a local newspaper boy, if I'm not mistaken. It was a courier or a newspaper boy. I can't remember what exactly it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this would also be the same age and in which Ham and Eggs started writing obscene letters to people who put out ads in the local newspapers and the classified ads.
I love that fact.
Yeah. Sometimes he even went as far as to go to the matrimonial agencies, and basically this little weirdo, he would reach out to dating agencies and then harass women, which, by the way, later in his life, I think it was 1932, he was arrested for it. It got that bad.
So because 50 years after he's been harassing people.
Yeah, he did not stop this. The shit he wrote was like, this wasn't like, oh, I fucking love you. This was a, I'm gonna shit on your chest next time I see you again sort of deal. Like,
if he only would have kept it there, it actually wouldn't be that bad. Like, yeah, it's still horrible to receive a letter like that, but still more innocent than I'm guessing the things we're gonna get into.
Yeah, again, that's the thing. There's always like this little fucking spark. It's like every time you think like, oh, it's gonna stop there, something else just around the corner, waiting to amp it up again. He would do this, the majority, actually only this shit, for the next 8 years until he reached the age of 20. And then Albert does something we see in a lot of serial killers and serial rapists, namely he softly starts escalating, which is, again, fucking spark, fire barrel, go blaze it up, boy. It's the year 1890 at this point. He is 20 years old, and he decides to go to New York City with his mama. And he starts to going out to male brothels. So he's so much into men. Still, on the outside perspective, he's a normal individual, by the way. This is all still secretive.
Yeah, you would not want to be gay.
Yeah.
Back in, I mean, it's like bad now, but I mean, back then even like.
But something that I was going to ask earlier, but I forgot to ask because we got so into the other stupid things we discussed. When he got taken back by his mom after being in the orphanage, because she had other children, they were never exposed to any treatment by him?
No, his sister and brother were in a mental institution at that point.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
They were having, like, vivid hallucinations and shit like that. They were having their own fucking bullshit to work through.
They were in a padded cell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, pretty
much.
With
the mouse from Green Mile.
As far as I could find, by the way, I don't know. This might have been like at the end of their lives that this came to fruition. All this fucking insane bullshit. But far as I could tell in my research, his siblings were both in a mental institution somewhere.
Yep.
And Albert Fish throughout his life as well, man. In total, he was arrested 6 times and like spent some time in mental institutions here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But like for him, it was different because he was let out. They were minor charges every time.
Mm-hmm.
He starts going through the male brothels, and of course, as you would expect, escalation of these things always comes with the next step as well. It's never just one tiny bit and it stays there. It's like he takes a small step and it has to escalate that step further, because Albert Fish isn't somebody that doesn't look for softcore shit. He's an extremist in everything.
Mm.
So he starts actually prostituting himself. There isn't an extreme amount of knowledge about this time in his life. The only thing we really know is what he said himself, which was that it was around this time that he started to rape young boys as well. So,
Lovely.
this is like a 3-step escalation. This is like going to the brothels, then prostituting himself, and then fucking like immediately jump to. And this is what I'm talking about. This is not extreme. It's like 2 soft steps, and then it just goes it goes 0 to 100 so fucking fast.
Yeah.
Again, a couple of years go by, and as we've seen in the past, there's always the next step waiting. But in 1898, his mother, not knowing half the shit she should have known to begin with, set him up with an arranged marriage, actually. Which, put some fire on the plans, or put some water on the fiery plans of being a gay male prostitute.
Yeah.
So this girl was 9 years younger than him and was named Anna Marie Hoffman, became his bride and gave birth to no more than 6 children. They were named Albert, Jesus. Anna, Gertrude, Eugene, John, and Henry Fish. And by the way, these are prime years for Albert Fish. There are no condoms. He's fucking and popping and out left and right. Like, it's one kid after the other. I think they were all made within the time span of 3 to 4 years, something like that.
Oh, so she was like pop out like a month later. Like, I'm pregnant again.
Yeah. It's just one kid after the other.
God damn.
At that point in his life, he was 28 years old, making his wife a tight 19-year-old. Not for long. Not after he was done with him.
Ew.
Call him daddy.
Come on, Ali. You had to make that joke.
Oddly enough, Albert never abused his own children or did them any harm. Now,
Perfect cover for him, right?
Yeah.
They have to be.
I'm going to put that on the side burner for now. I'll tell you why later.
Okay.
Let's just say that he never abused his own children sexually and he didn't harm them physically. Let's just keep it there for now. It was, however, around this same age that Ham and Eggs decided he wanted to be a house painter. Not having a proper education, Albert was apparently very good with his hands. A waka waka, Ali, little joke there. You like that one? Nah, come on. All right, well... So disappointment when Ali doesn't laugh. All right, well, during his visits to different houses, he would pick and choose victims while in their homes. Look, if you had anything happen and you have problems with rape and problems with what happens to children sometimes and all that fucking bullshit, stop now. Go listen to happy music. Fucking just,
Yeah, because we've just been talking about roses and flowers so far.
Yeah, but now it's getting to detail.
Now we're getting into the done. I get what you mean.
I'm gonna actually tell you the ages of what his victims usually were, and so I think this is a point of no return. If you feel uncomfortable, just stop listening. Just stop it. Just click it off right now. Go listen to another podcast and or another episode that we did, and pick something jolly. There's a poopy episode there you can listen to. But so during his visits to different houses, he would pick and choose victims while in their homes, usually around or under the age of 6.
Jesus.
Now, later we would find out that preference in age wasn't a big thing just as long as they were young. But a lot of his victims apparently float around that age. And I think that has something to do with the main shit that happened in the orphanage. Is that he's picking the victims that he had the purest fucking, in his mind, his sexual, the ultimate thing happened there. And so these kids...
So he's basically recreating himself when he was robbed of his innocence.
I'm not a psychologist. I don't know a lot about that, but I had some shit happened in my life, and I could get behind that idea of it being that.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, no, it usually, like I said, none of us are have any knowledge
this is just
of psychologies. Yeah, but I'd like to watch a lot of like sort of this
true crime.
Yeah, true crime and horrible things, and it is a common pattern that, especially when abused as children, the perpetrator, then later the victims are usually the same age when they were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, at around this age he was in, he also claims that around that time he went with a friend, quote unquote, because he was actually, I found out he was actually a gay lover on the side. This friend, to a waxworks museum where he saw a bisection of a penis, and he was absolutely enthralled by the thing.
Oh no.
Again, stepping it up to the next level, triggering a fascination into sexual mutilation. So again, it amps up.
Yeah.
1903, no more than 3 years after his arranged marriage, Fish got incarcerated for grand larceny and was sent to Sing Sing prison. I don't know if you know a lot about the history of Sing Sing, but that place does not have a solid, good history. But
what did he get arrested for again? Sorry.
Grand larceny, so theft.
Theft. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But for a guy like Albert Fish, man, that was heaven on earth. He was having butt sex with men left and right. But again, one thing leads to another amp up. During his time in Sing Sing prison, he and his wife, of course, had no contact, which led to Mrs. Fish getting to know other men. One of these men was named John Straub. He was a handyman that ended up living with Mrs. Fish until the release of Albert Fish.
This guy didn't know who he crossed, did he?
Well, no, there's actually not that much. Like, look, a lot of investigators and studies actually show that this was a final and foremost turning point in his life. But Albert Fish never reacted to that as you would expect somebody to react to that, because when Mrs. Fish decided to get a divorce and leave Albert, who was until that time a pretty standard dad in his normal day-to-day life, and as a husband as well, he was pretty normal, because everything he did that was wrong or against the law, it was all on the side. He kept all his secret. But she decided to leave him for John Straub, who clearly she already had a relationship with.
Yeah.
And in her leaving, she left the children behind and wasn't heard of ever again. She just fucking vamoosed.
She dumped 6 children on this psycho.
That leads me to believe that she knew something was fucked up. And she was like, nope, I'm not having to do anything with this. I'm out.
I wonder if the kids also had the schizophrenic tendencies, like his kids.
As far as I know, they were pretty okay. They were not normal that kids. Weird. They knew something was up with dad though.
The kids usually do, right? They can kind of something's not quite right about this person.
All right, well, what should be a fact of life for many people, for our subjects of these episodes, it was a grand release after a grand release. Imagine this, you roll out of jail where you just spent X amount of time, because I actually tried to find how long he was in jail for. I didn't find it. I did find that the majority of his jail sentences and all that shit were either quickly dispersed or he didn't spend a lot of time in jail. But he gets to have all the butt sex in the world. He gets to be hurt and be used, and he's a fucking sex slave for these fucking prisoners. He's being used left and right. So he's living that fantasy again. He walks out thinking like, fuck to this bitch again. Because she was nothing but standing in his way. Because every minute spent with his wife was a minute he wasn't in pain. And for Albert Fish to not be in pain is a minute not well lived. Is basically what it was. So it was a grand release after a grand release with his newly developed prison mindset. His lust for gore, pain, and sexual gratification only grew more. And not only that, the only person to hold his urges back and the only reason why he kept them secret had just left with another man. Now, like I said, a lot of studies have been done about this moment. Everybody says the same thing. This was the moment. This was the moment when Ham and Eggs turned into the Gray Man. This was the moment where Ham and Eggs turned into Werewolf of Wisteria. He turned into the Boogeyman. This is it. This is his grand fucking, like, conversion into whatever it is. His children recount that after this point, their father went from being somewhat odd man. This is why I said he never physically harmed them.
Yep.
He went from being a somewhat odd man to being just plain fucking weird. There are recounts of him howling at full moons in the middle of the fucking night.
By his kids. Who recounted this?
His kids, his children.
His kids, yeah.
Also notable, after his arrest, Fish told a newspaper that when his wife left him, she took nearly every possession the family owned. So he came home from prison. She took everything. Like every fucking thing. He began to have, at that point, auditory hallucinations because his kids recount that he once wrapped himself in a carpet saying that he was following the instructions of John the Apostle.
Okay.
So apparently that makes sense, but like it's something he did. It was about that time that Fish began to indulge in self-harm. He would embed needles into his groin and abdomen. After his later arrests, X-rays revealed that Fish had at least 29 needles lodged in his pelvic region. He also hit himself repeatedly with a nail-studded paddle and inserted wool, like a cotton ball piece of wool, doused in lighter fluid into his asshole and set it on fire.
Fuck.
Fucking hell.
He melted his chocolate starfish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus.
While Fish was never taught to have physically attacked or abused his children, he did encourage them and their friends to paddle his buttocks with the same nail-studded paddle. So, can you imagine going to little Albie's, birthday party and, his dad is walking around and
dressed up as a clown with a paddle.
let's play pin the donkey and I'm the donkey,
in the lighter fluid, pour the lighter fluid on the donkey.
Yeah.
Can you pin the match?
That's just even fucking worse. It's like, in a sense, because they say, he'd never beat them or like sexually assaulted them, but just the torment.
Yeah. I don't know if this is torment. I don't even fucking understand what this classifies as, but like, mental abuse probably. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
But apparently, like, I've actually read psychology reports on him from people that actually went to jail and talked to him. I remember one fucking so fucking... You would think that somebody that enjoys extreme amounts of pain like him would be this extreme person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
one of the things that psychologist says or said was he was so surprised by how calm and like demeaning and nice Albert Fish was when he got to know him. He literally said, if you would trust your kids into somebody's arms, it would be his.
Yeah. It's sort of like the Ed Kemper situation. Because he also...
Ed Kemper was a fucking giant.
Yeah, but as in his personality, like he was a very like lovable person, and everyone, like that's how we have the studies about serial killers is a lot of it is thanks to Ed Kemper, because he would work with investigators and explain things that were going on in his head, so they would kind of be able to map out. But that was the thing with Ed Kemper, like no one really, he handed himself in.
Yeah.
He was never caught.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Because he was seen as a very lovable person.
It just strikes me as so fucking odd as hearing a psychologist say, like, if you would trust your kids into somebody's arms, it would have been his. And then knowing what this guy had going on is like, what the fuck? But yeah, so I guess mentally abuse was a big part of his children's development. He soon also developed a growing obsession with cannibalism. When they later ransacked his house, they found an abundance of like papers and books on cannibalism. And he was known to eat steaks raw for dinner. Like just a steak, nothing else. Like no potatoes, no veggies, just a raw steak. And
I love steak, but not raw.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
And forcing his children to eat their steaks raw as well.
Oh,
this, of course, combined with the whole howling at the moon aspect, granted him the nickname the Werewolf of Wysteria.
With the cannibalism, I'm assuming it's obviously by his victims and stuff that he would, or was it self-cannibalism?
I don't know if there was any self-cannibalism involved, but yeah, that cannibalism.
But what my actual question more was would he feed his children too meat of his victims, or?
No, okay. That he never did. No, his children, when recounting their days with their father, they would recount him as being weird. It's never been spoke of as he was a bad father, he was a bad provider, he was like violent, he didn't have fits of rage.
Just weird.
He was a genuinely calm guy that had weird odds and angles, and maybe to an extreme. But if you grew up in it, like, I don't think you'll see it as an extreme. I just think you'll say like, oh, well, I went to my friend Denny's house and his dad doesn't make me spank him with a nail-studded bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they knew something was up. I just don't think they've ever figured out to the extreme up until the point to where he confessed.
Yeah.
But this all happened around the year 1917, approximately. And that's where we'll leave you guys for this episode. And again, ladies and gentlemen, just so you guys know, even though this has seemed somewhat lighter than promised in the previous episode, it gets darker, and a lot fucking darker. I'm gonna try and make... There's so much on this guy. I can definitely do 4 parts on him. I'm not going to.
Spin up the fish podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and stop with. Look, we've covered what we know made him into what he is. I think with this episode, we've seen all the little details that kept amping up into all his fetishes. And so for the next episode, I'm going to leave that behind. I'm not going to talk about how it was created, even though I think it's fascinating as fuck to see it, what happens and how something gets triggered. But I think next episode we're going to go into the actual crimes. If today's episode was already on the verge of being too hard, do not come back next week. It's horrible. Ali, I'm going to tell you this in advance as well. If it's too much for you, feel free to not join it. And then me and Alex can do the episode. I don't mind. It gets very dark.
That's all right.
But I did find a letter that he wrote after doing, I'm not going to say what he did, but after doing something to a child that he wrote the parents, and it's not pretty.
Yeah. Thank you for the warning, but yeah. We'll just have to see in worst case. We'll see how it goes. But it's just for everyone that is listening, obviously, if you find that this episode was a lot, and he's already warned you.
On that note, sorry for this week's episode.
He's bloody fascinating, though. The thing is, like, I've heard parts of him in a sense, like, even, like, if you can't really, like, not look at the really horrible things he did, but it's still, I don't know, I find it really interesting, the psychology study of, like, how he constantly amps up and what triggers it and how it gets. I find it really fascinating.
And it's every time it's something little, and like you can just clearly see that in his mind, it changes so drastic. It's like he can only think in extremes.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to jail for larceny, for grand larceny, and he's happy about it. It's a good place for him to be. He didn't mind being in jail because he knew he was going to enjoy the pain that was given to him. He knew he was going to get buckfucked.
Beaten, you can fuck, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
He can deliberately act up to get beaten by guards or other inmates.
Please look up Sing Sing prisoners in history. Like, these people weren't nice fucking individuals. These aren't like the jails this is 1903, I think, or 1917. I can't remember.
But obviously it has to do with the orphanage, and maybe that just, like, even if it was only 2 years that he was there. But it imprisons something.
It was the second orphanage.
Yeah. But that's where he felt safe in a way, because that's what...
Oh, yeah.
Because when he came to the orphanage, he was a person, but he got molded into something else at the orphanage. And being back in that sort of environment made him feel at home in a weird sense.
Yeah.
And that's why he loved it so much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, on that note... Look, we got a Discord server going, so feel free to join us. There was a guy, Malf, that joined us. Wait, hold on. Malf, for fuck's sake. Say something. Malf joined us 3 weeks ago and has not say a word, so shout out Malf. Fucking say something on that Discord server, or I'm gonna send you poopy eating pictures.
Ew.
Are we just gonna start calling members out now?
Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing it all the way. I'm just gonna call. Look, the 18th of the 4th month, I sent introduce yourself, Malf. The 16th of the 5th month, I said, Malf, we're still waiting. And then today, I told him, Malf, for fuck's sake, say something. He hasn't replied yet. This motherfucker needs to fucking reply. And quickly. But like, if you want to know where to find this Discord server, just click the link in the description down below. You'll be able to scoot on in there and join us and see us live, talk to us, whatever, you know. If you send us, we'll send back. It's as simple as that. So do that. We also have a Twitter page.
Of shit.
Well, you know, there is an NSFW page, so.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but we also have a Twitter and a Instagram page, and I'm going to let the guys take this one.
Mm-hmm. So Instagram, we are at @random.podcast, so at.random.podcast.
And on Twitter, we are @@randompod.
Yep, that's exactly right. And I want to thank everybody for listening to this week's episode. And of course, looking forward to hear you all back or see you all back next week. And for those that can't listen or won't listen next week, just head on back into the archive of all the episodes we did. Pick one you like and just listen to it. There's a lot of fun stuff in there, and you'll still have a good time without having to listen to that shit.
Highly recommend the one about how to survive a nuclear blast, because you'll still realize that Andy has not done his punishment.
I have not done.
After almost a year.
I did think about it this week, and that's where it stayed.
You didn't even do the other punishment that you also had.
I still have to look. It's still on the back burner. I still have to make the worst porn ever.
Yeah.
At
intro.
Porn intro. We don't want an actual porn movie.
You'll get the rest personally.
I mean, yeah, you don't speak. You don't speak for me, woman.
Shut the fuck up, Alex. You want to die?
I'm independent.
Yeah, that, and I also still have to eat the surströmming or smell the surströmming.
Eat the surströmming.
Eating is better than smelling.
It's coming. So one of these days, look, this podcast is gonna fucking go on for a couple of years. I have time. All right.
No,
I think. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening, and of course, until next week.
Bye.
Bye.